Please do not play that yet. I'm guessing that this is supposed to be said as Royale Lynn and not Royal because there's an E added, but that's a guess. I've heard that they started their career as a country music artist, and then they started doing heavy metal because heavy metal is what they like the most. But since they've rebranded for doing heavy metal, they don't have a lot out. So I think we're gonna take a look at their probably their full collection. I didn't see anything about any lives or anything. Let me go back here for a second and just take a look. Obviously, the singer is getting most of the face time. I don't see anything that looks to be... I mean, there's behind the scenes, but I don't see any, like... Well, I guess this, 1 minute one is live, technically. Oh, and we have one at... one live in Nashville that is 55 seconds long. All right. Anyways, I'm very curious. I'm very curious indeed. So let's take a look.
One road in, one road out. One creek runs top down, north to south. The way it's rolling, where it's going, lets us know where we come from.
Okay, I'm going to stop already for a second. This is a very country song. The vocal intonation is completely the way you would do it in country music. Obviously, that's what she started her career doing, was country music. From the little bit I got when finding the bands, she went to Nashville at 18 to start a music career. And because, while Nashville is known for music in general, it is still the heart of country music. So what she ended up performing was mostly country music. I really want to know if this is all country music or for this song. Because I know she switches it up, and her more recent stuff is definitely heavy metal, which is apparently what she liked the most as a teen. It's just not what she found to be acceptable for the audiences that she was playing to. So she didn't really pursue that. Anyways, let's keep going.
It's in our blood, let me tell you something. Yeah, it runs like a 67 Chevy. Yeah, it runs like a river, slow and steady. Keeps the blue in the car in the small town smaller. Friday night on a motor if you had us down here in the holler. Yeah, it runs in the water. Bring the dust, bring the drought. What's running here ain't running out. All that mud is thick as sludge. It's busy pumping through these veins. We've been saved, been baptized. Took a bite of the apple and didn't know
Okay, I think it's safe to say a minute and a half in that this is actually a country song. Definitely the rock side of country, but clearly country song. I'm assuming it's later in, other videos that we're gonna see her switch this up. It's gonna be something after hearing this one to hear her, like, dive into heavy metal. Okay. Yes. All of that's very country, uh, rock country, if that makes any sense to anyone. There's different types of country music. There's definitely very different types of country music. This is the rock type. Anyways, let's keep going. I want to see when she goes, like, heavy metal. Yes.
Some people think it's a curse. They gon' drag my name down through the dirt. They really think it can't get any worse. Falling, everything burns. I'll sit all alone, watch from the edge of the earth. Because I never needed anyone but me. Keep my circle tight, got no bad company. I'd rather die here than ever leave. I did this on my own, I don't need your sympathy. I've always been an outcast, getting picked last. Yeah, I'm solving all my problems with a six-pack. I'm an outlaw, someone's last call. Yeah, listen, buddy, I've been through it all. Just 'cause I'm a redneck don't mean I'm a train wreck. Little off the rails, trouble's coming instead ahead. I'm a survivor, I get a liar. I've been as low as it gets, but I ain't 6 feet deep yet.
Okay. We have a slight break in the music, so I feel safe pausing this. Clearly this is definitely them and her specifically going heavy metal. The beats heavy metal, at least hard rock, depending on where you want to draw that line. Yeah, very much so. She's still got a little bit of that, like, country twang. Also, I find the redneck comments hilarious, because the little blurb that I read when I found the band is that Lynn here is from Canada. Does Canada have a lot of rednecks? I don't think that's how that works. I think that has a specific, like, US only meaning, or at least that's the only ways I have ever heard it growing up. But yeah, the rebel theme very much mixing uh, the country music aspects with like heavy metal. I mean, anyone who's heard country music, they love to talk about how they're rebels. It is a thing in so many country songs that I heard growing up. Uh, Hilarious note for you, but where I grew up is a rural part of PA, and there are people there that swear they're in the South. They only listen to country music. All other music is crap as far as they're concerned. Um, and, they think they're rednecks, and they take pride in that. Though it's hilarious because they're so not in the South. I mean, I I can go on a clear day and look across Lake Erie and see Canada. We're not in the South, okay? I might have to drive a little bit, but it's in the same county as me where I can see that. But these people think, oh no, we're in the South. Get the Confederate flags out. It was hilarious growing up because those type, all they wanted to listen to every day was country music. Country music this, country music that. I've heard so much country music in my life because of those people. And I'm not even strictly opposed to country music. But as a kid, they made me hate it because it was all they would listen to. And they disregarded everything that wasn't country music. So I have heard so many songs that are country music about being a rebel. Yeah. Totally a thing. So yes, this feels very much, should we call it Southern heavy metal? I mean, Southern rock is very much a thing. And this leans into those country music aspects that I look for in something to classify it as like Southern rock. But this is heavier than most of those tend to be. So, I wouldn't call this Southern rock, but we might need to call it Southern heavy metal, which is hilarious from a Canadian, okay? I know other people listen to like country music as well. I know there's like a big country music crowd in Australia and a bunch of other places. But yeah, it's always felt weird to me because it feels like such a US specific thing. And like folk exists in the rest of the world, which is also the origins of like country music. So, anyways, let's get back to the song. I'm way off track at this point. Ew.
Got some problems to fix.
Definitely don't drink
Got
that.
some things I should probably quit. Truth is way out in the sticks. Just some down home hicks. Yeah, Dr. Daniels is my therapist. I've always been an outcast, getting picked last. Yeah, I'm solving all my problems with a six-pack. I'm an outlaw, someone's last call. Yeah, at least somebody had been through it all. Just 'cause I'm a redneck don't mean I'm a train wreck. Little off the rails, trouble's coming instead ahead. I'm a survivor,
Okay. Okay. This. Oh, geez. I messed up my camera. Hang on. I'll try to fix that. Sorry, I turned my head too much, and that's what happens. All right. It should kick back in a sec. I think I got it. Hopefully. Hopefully. But this upside down scene, these people must be thinking she's like a demon. Come on. Come on. I've noticed this like telekinesis angle throughout the story so far. But man, this scene, especially with like these country music tones, just every person that I already talked about like into country music is also like very like Christian oriented. They would totally be flipping out about demons. Come on. Come on. Girl is upside down in a chair, floating like what, 6 feet off the ground? People would be running out of the room screaming demon. Okay? Though, personally gives me like X-Men vibes, but that might have a little to do with the fact that the Spider-Man trailer for what is it, New Day? Something like that. The next one that's coming out this summer, I think, came out. And it's rumored that one of the main characters in the movie, besides Spider-Man, is Jean Grey, who is a telepath and a telekinetic. So, this has some vibes for me, okay? Anyways, back to it.
Off the rails, trouble's coming instead ahead. I'm a survivor, ain't a liar. I've been as low as it gets, but I ain't 6 feet deep yet. 6 feet deep yet.
No replaying. No playing the next one. I hate when I get that timing wrong. Anyways, let's keep going.
Sometimes when I fall asleep, I know it's waiting for me. Praying on my hands and knees, the dark my soul to keep. 'Cause life is a funeral home, and everyone's dying alone. So when it's all written in stone, I wanna know in my bones that I push myself to the ledge, dance on a high wire. I ain't got time to regret that ring of fire. I need that rush in my blood. I need that high like a drug. If ignorance is bliss, then why would I quit? Living like I got a death wish.
You on the fire within, flat out to flatline again. Can't help but the feeling of falling's what sets me free. I ain't gonna try and pretend that this makes any kind of sense, but I'll do it again and again. I'll do it again and again.
I push myself to the ledge, dance on a high wire.
I ain't got time to regret. I bring a fire.
I need that rush in my blood. I need that high like a drug.
If ignorance is bliss, then why would I quit?
Living like I got a death wish.
I think that's pretty much the end of the song. Man, I try to catch that last like 3 seconds and it automatically moves on. Man. anyways. Um, man, I don't think I even stopped during that one. Did I? I I don't recall. Anyways, I was just grooving to it. Uh, very catchy. I was trying to make out like the story in the video, and I wasn't really like working it out per se. I get that the guy is a firefighter and he has some conflict with his fiance, I think. Um, over him, I think getting hurt while firefighting. But firefighting, like police work, is a very life endangering field. You kind of know what you're getting when you get into it. And that goes for everyone in your life too, because they also know what that is like. Uh, or at least they should. I mean, it's played out on TV, in movies, in songs, obviously. We just got that here. Uh, so I'm not really sure if the song goes great with like the video or vice versa, depending on how you want to word that. They didn't feel like they were really in sync. I think you could have made the song about a death wish with almost any sort of media. I don't think it needs to be about firefighters or even like rescue personnel if you want to broaden that. Anyways, I think that's most of my thoughts on that. Uh, Fun song. Would listen to again. Not sold on the video, but that's just me.
They gave you a throne, they gave you a town, they build you an army to fight for the crown. I know what you think, this is what you want, but a part of you rots and a part of you's gone. So go on, darling, save yourself, 'cause I'm scared I'm going hell. I let my fire breathe the beast of desire. It burns me up and that's a pain I will remember the rest of my days. Control takes a piece of my soul. It holds me under till I go insane. But that's the sacrifice I make. So give me a ledge, give me a grave. I'd rather be dead than to give it this name. I've seen the monsters, I carry the weight, and you couldn't handle the price that I paid. So go on, keep your sanity. Lord knows there's no saving me. I let my fire breathe the beast of desire. It burns me up and that's a pain I will remember the rest of my days. Control takes a piece of my soul. It holds me under till I go insane.
Okay. Wow. That went on longer than I thought. We're already like a minute 45 into this song. Uh Anyways, I gotta make my commentary here. Um for this one, they have leaned totally into like melodic heavy metal. Um her light airy tones sort of flow over everything. really beautiful. The beats is that hard, heavy metal sort of sound that you expect. The theme is also very heavy metal for this one. And she's lost any vague, like, country music vocalizations. Yeah, there's like nothing left of that country music twang that we had at the beginning. Even the last song had a little bit. This has zero. Which is definitely an evolution. Anyways, let's let this finish. Okay, and then we get a little bit of a rap mix here. I mean, this could be like a Linkin Park song, maybe a little bit of Evanescence. Yeah. There's not a big difference between like those groups and this. It's a pretty close step. So yeah, that's a totally different vibe at this point.
Another pretty face, kiss, just a centerfold, looking like a god when you put me on a pedestal.
I caught it. Just in time. Just in time. All right. Yeah, I'm curious. Oh, wow. 1.4 million views in a year. Yeah, I would agree with this person. I wouldn't be mad if I went to an In This Moment show and this was the opener. Uh, I don't get this person's comment about this being country core. I don't see or feel any elements that is like country in this. Yes, I agree with the other comment that is all about how her country was okay. But this is so much better. Anyways, it really shows you what someone who is actually a fan of a genre can do when allowed to do their own thing. Let's keep going. Ooh, that's meaty beats.
I can see behind your eyes a sickness has consumed you, and you're never satisfied. There's nothing that you won't do. The dots are connected, shown you're infected. I know your intentions, 'cause you take everything you can take until there's nothing left. You never change, stay the same, feet on the grave that makes you. When's it gonna be too much? When's it gonna be enough?
Sorry, I have not paused, and I should. I'm just grooving. But man, man, uh, this is this is reminding me a lot of Falling in Reverse. I mean, there's definitely a different style in this. But it is like it's shot very similar. There's some similar structures in it. Hello, Vic Weave. Um, I was not meaning that in a bad way. I like. I know the singer for Falling in Reverse has uh, a lot of questionable history. And I'm not talking about that. I mean, musically and video wise in particular. There's a lot of common concepts. That's probably a good way of putting it. Yes, I'm not really a Ronnie fan. That is what I'm trying to say. But I like the music. Um, he's and they as a whole have done some very amazing songs. Um, which is what reminds me of this. Anyways, I'll let this finish out and then I'll talk a little bit more.
When's it gonna be too much? When's it gonna be enough? You always want more. You always want more. You always want.
All right. So, like, the distortion effects on her voice reminds me of Falling in Reverse. Um, the that whole scene reminds me of the one Falling in Reverse song, which I don't remember the name of, where there's like a fight in like hell that happens. Uh, the beat definitely sounds very similar to like several different Falling in Reverse songs. Yeah, her voice is like the one thing that is nothing like Falling in Reverse. That her voice is more like how like um I don't want to say like Amy Lee necessarily, but someone more like Amy Lee would do things. Style wise, there's a lot of like common grounds. Man, this is another 1.1 million views. And everything is literally just, yes, this is definitely her style. Though, they're apparently signed to Sumerian. I think Falling in Reverse might be as well. That might be the common thread for me to like put those together. I'm not sure. I'd have to look up who they're with. That's not something I usually care about too much. Um, but we have one last one, which was dropped 8 months ago, and I'm just hearing about it apparently because that's. I mean, literally, Falling in Reverse is in the recommended playlist. Come on. Come on, how could I not think of it? See, even YouTube gets some similarities, all right? It's not just me. Oh, you can. I have a bunch of videos on YouTube from like last year. I think last year. Uh, I can't tell you exactly. It was pretty early on in me reacting to music. Um, Mostly because they did a amazing cover of a Disturbed song. So, yeah. Uh, I did like a bigger introduction, and then I actually like split it up into like individual songs as well. So you can look at it either way, but yeah, totally a thing. Anyways, let's watch this last one. I'm very curious.
Bring out your pitchfork, sharpen your sticks. Catch me if you can, you can burn me like a witch. Call my accusers, dig out the ditch. Catch me if you can, you can burn me like a witch. Why do they try to break what they don't understand? And I'm nothing like they say. They say I am, so I'll be damned. Bring out your pitchfork, sharpen your sticks. Catch me if you can, you can burn me like a witch. Bring out your pitchfork, sharpen your sticks. Catch me if you can, you can burn me like a witch. Call my accusers, dig out the ditch. Catch me if you can, you can burn me like a witch.
Okay, she really loves the vocal effects in this. She's definitely mixing things up in this one. I love those whispered lines. I cannot do whispered lines. See, because if I do this, it doesn't let me like go back into singing immediately. I need time between those things. So yeah. Not really something I can do. And then she's distorting it the other way and like getting all high and whiny. And I think there's definitely like a electronic computer assisted like vocal effect on that too. I don't think that's just her pure normal voice doing that. Anyways, it's definitely some interesting vocal technique.
Come watch an angel turn into a demon. Halo in the horns, turn a hero to a villain. Bring out your pitchfork, sharpen your sticks. Catch me if you can, you can burn me like a witch.
I mean, that bring out. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't get high enough to even attempt that. But the way she does that is like hilarious. I feel like I should clap after hearing that part.
You shame what you see differently. So what you don't believe, don't put on me. You ain't seen darkness in this light. Come try a new point of view. Yeah, I feel right on the wrong side. If you got something to prove, bring out your pitchfork, sharpen your sticks. Catch me if you can, you can burn me like a witch. Call my accusers, dig
gets me with that every time, and I just start like cracking up. I swear. I swear. Man, that's a ride. That is a ride. I love the beats. Um, there's some interesting lyrics in there, definitely. Man, 8 months and 560K views. The slightly sane version of Harley Quinn. That is sort of the vibe. That is definitely sort of the vibe. One comment is just, good lord. That feels kind of fitting. That feels kind of fitting. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. All right. That's everything they've released at this point in the music video category, anyways. They literally just 8 months ago dropped an entire album. So, in fact, they have a studio documentary about making that album. So, definitely some stuff there to possibly look at. If you're more interested in them. But I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. Her sound has gone through eras. Eras. She starts out very country. Well, I mean, she was like a country singer from like 18 to like 28. And then she's like, yeah, I've had enough of that. And that's basically the point we start at like 3 years ago, I think it is. Yeah, 3 years ago was Runs in the Water. And then after that, she starts to add in more like metal elements. And by the time of like Death Wish, which was about a year ago, she pretty much drops most of the country aspect of her singing. And it's definitely more heavy metal. And I mean, Sacrifice drops all of the country elements, but there are a little tiny bit left for Death Wish. And none of the stuff from Sacrifice on have like any country aspects to them. Which is great, because I think like I did kind of like some of that like country fusion with heavy metal that she did for like 6 Feet Deep, and even a little bit in like Death Wish. That wasn't bad, but yeah, she's definitely got a future in the more heavy metal stuff.